The story of the 10 horns begins in ancient biblical scriptures, specifically in the books of Daniel and Revelation. These prophetic visions, full of symbolism and mysteries, reveal a panorama of historical curiosities that still fascinate scholars and the curious today. Imagine a world where each horn represents a power, a nation, a government that shapes the destiny of humanity. It is in this universe of symbols that we will delve, unveiling what these 10 horns mean for modern governments. In the current context, understanding the 10 horns goes beyond a simple historical curiosity. It is a key to deciphering the complex political and social dynamics that govern our world. The relevance of this theme is palpable, as it helps us understand how ancient prophecies can be reflected in contemporary power structures. In times of rapid change and uncertainty, these historical connections offer us a broader and deeper perspective. In this video, you will be guided through a fascinating journey where each horn will reveal secrets and insights into the governments that have shaped and continue to influence the course of history. Get ready to explore everything from ancient empires to modern superpowers, discovering how each of these powers fits into the grand narrative of the 10 horns. At every turn, you'll see how the curiosities of history intertwine with current events, providing a richer, more detailed understanding of the world around us. At the end of this journey, you will have acquired not just knowledge, but a new way of seeing the world. You will understand how ancient prophecies still resonate in the corridors of modern power. This video is not just a history lesson, but an in-depth and engaging exploration that promises to transform your view of governments and their influences. Let's begin this journey through time and unravel together the mysteries of the 10 horns. Daniel, one of the most enigmatic prophets of the Old Testament, lived in a time of great turmoil. Exiled in Babylon, he stood out for his wisdom and ability to interpret dreams. Daniel's mission was not only to survive in a foreign land, but also to bring divine messages that contained curiosities from history and visions of the future. In a night of revelations, he had a vision that would forever change the understanding of power and politics. The vision of the 4 animals. These 4 animals, each more strange and terrifying than the last, represented kingdoms that would rise and fall over time. The first was a lion with eagle's wings, followed by a bear, a 4-headed leopard, and finally a terrible beast with 10 horns. Each animal symbolized an empire, and the details of this vision were so vivid that Daniel was troubled for days. The interpretation of the 4 animals is one of the curiosities of history that continues to intrigue scholars and theologians to this day. The significance of the 10 horns in particular is one of the most fascinating aspects of Daniel's vision. Each horn represented a king or kingdom, and the prophecy suggested that these rulers would play a crucial role in future events. The way these horns interacted and moved in the vision indicated alliances, betrayals, and conflicts that would shape human history. To fully understand this prophecy, it is essential to delve into the details and consider how each horn relates to contemporary powers. Throughout this video, we will explore how Daniel's vision unfolds and connects with modern governments. We will see how the empires represented by the 4 animals and the 10 horns have influenced and continue to influence global politics. This journey is not just an exploration of interesting facts from history, but an opportunity to understand how ancient prophecies still resonate in today's world. Prepare yourself for a deep and engaging analysis that promises to illuminate the mysteries of the past and their implications for the present. Since the earliest days of Christianity, scholars and theologians have pored over the prophecy of the 10 horns, seeking to understand its deep meaning. In the first centuries, there was a great diversity of interpretations, each trying to decipher the curiosities of history contained in these sacred texts. Some believed that the horns represented specific kingdoms that would arise after the fall of the Roman Empire, while others saw them as a metaphor for spiritual forces in constant conflict. These early interpretations shaped the way prophecy was understood and discussed over the centuries. As history progressed, new interpretations emerged, reflecting the political and social changes of each era. During the Middle Ages, for example, many saw the 10 horns as representations of emerging European kingdoms, each fighting for power and influence. With the advent of the Protestant Reformation, the prophecy was reinterpreted to criticize the Catholic Church, with the horns symbolizing the popes and their supposed corruption. These changes in interpretation show how the curiosities of the story and Daniel's visions were adapted to suit the needs and concerns of each era. In modern times, the interpretation of the 10 horns continues to evolve. Today, many scholars see the horns as representations of contemporary global powers, such as the United States, China, and the European Union. This contemporary perspective reflects the growing interconnectedness and complexity of the global political landscape. By analyzing these modern interpretations, we can see how Daniel's ancient prophecy still resonates and offers insights into today's challenges and power dynamics. The curiosities of history, in this context, become a tool to better understand our own time. The diversity of interpretations over the centuries teaches us a valuable lesson. History is a narrative in constant construction, shaped by the perspectives and experiences of each generation. By exploring the different ways in which the 10 horns have been understood, we gain a deeper appreciation for the richness and complexity of human history. This video is not just an exploration of an ancient prophecy, but a journey through time, revealing how the curiosities of history can illuminate our present and future. Prepare yourself for a journey that promises to challenge your perceptions and expand your understanding of power and politics. The rise of the Roman Empire is one of the curiosities in history that most fascinates scholars and enthusiasts. Founded in 753 BC, Rome began as a small city-state and, through military conquests and strategic alliances, grew into one of the greatest empires the world has ever seen. Roman expansion was marked by epic battles, such as the Punic Wars against Carthage, and by iconic leaders such as Julius Caesar and Augustus. Each victory and each defeat shaped the character of the empire, leaving a legacy that still resonates today. The impact of the Roman Empire on the modern world is undeniable. His contributions go beyond territorial borders, profoundly influencing culture, language, architecture, and law. The Latin language, for example, is the basis of many contemporary European languages, and Roman law still serves as a reference for legal systems around the world. Additionally, Roman roads, aqueducts, and buildings are lasting testaments to their advanced engineering. These fun facts from history show how Rome shaped not only its own time, but also the future. The political legacy of the Roman Empire is equally significant. Institutions such as the Roman Senate and the idea of the Republic profoundly influenced the development of modern democracies. The notion of Roman citizenship, with rights and duties, is a precursor to contemporary citizenships. Furthermore, the concept of empire, with a supreme ruler and a vast unified territory, served as a model for many subsequent governments. Studying Rome is therefore essential to understanding the evolution of political and administrative ideas that govern our world today. The fall of the Roman Empire around the 5th century marked the end of an era, but its legacy endures. The transition from Roman power to the barbarian kingdoms and eventually the Byzantine Empire is a story of adaptation and transformation. Even in its fall, Rome left an indelible mark on history. This video will continue exploring how each of the 10 horns, starting with Rome, contributed to the formation of modern governments. The curiosities of history reveal that, even after millennia, the lessons of Rome are still relevant and inspiring. The Byzantine Empire, direct heir to the Roman Empire, represents one of the most fascinating curiosities in history. Founded in 330 AD, when Emperor Constantine transferred the capital of the Roman Empire to Byzantium, renaming it Constantinople, the empire stood out for its longevity and resilience. For more than 1,000 years, the Byzantine Empire was a bulwark of culture, religion, and political power in the Mediterranean, surviving countless invasions and internal crises. The story of its founding and expansion is a testament to the human capacity for adaptation and perseverance. The cultural contributions of the Byzantine Empire are vast and lasting. The preservation and transmission of classical Greek and Roman knowledge through the works of philosophers, scientists, and literati ensured that ancient wisdom was not lost during the Middle Ages. Furthermore, the Byzantine Empire was a center of artistic development, especially in architecture and sacred art, with the construction of magnificent churches such as Hagia Sophia, which still impresses visitors today with its grandeur and beauty. These interesting facts from history highlight the importance of Byzantium as a beacon of culture and learning. Religiously, the Byzantine Empire played a crucial role in the formation of Orthodox Christianity. The separation between the Eastern Orthodox Church and the Roman Catholic Church, known as the Great Schism of 1554, had profound implications for Christianity. The empire was also the scene of intense theological debates and ecumenical councils that shaped Christian doctrine. Byzantium's religious influence extended throughout Eastern Europe and beyond, leaving a spiritual legacy that still resonates in many Christian communities around the world. The decline and fall of the Byzantine Empire, culminating in the capture of Constantinople by the Ottomans in 1453, marked the end of an era. However, the factors that led to its collapse are complex and multifaceted, involving external invasions, internal conflicts, and economic changes. The fall of Byzantium not only closed a significant chapter in history, but also paved the way for new power dynamics in the Mediterranean and beyond. This video will continue to explore how each of the 10 horns, including the Byzantine Empire, shaped modern governments and left a lasting legacy. The curiosities of history show us that, even in its fall, Byzantium continues to influence the contemporary world. The Holy Roman Empire, founded in 862 AD, is one of the curiosities of history that reflects the attempt to revive the glory of the ancient Roman Empire in the heart of Europe. This empire was not a unified state, but a complex confederation of kingdoms, duchies, and city-states, all under the nominal authority of the emperor. The formation and structure of the Holy Empire were shaped by a combination of Roman and Germanic traditions, creating a unique political entity that would influence Europe for centuries. During the Middle Ages, the Holy Roman Empire played a crucial role in European politics and religion. The emperor was seen as the defender of Christendom, and the empire served as a bulwark against external invasions and internal heresies. The relationship between the emperor and the papacy was often tense, with struggles for power and spiritual and temporal supremacy. These complex and intriguing dynamics are some of the curiosities of history that show how the Holy Empire shaped medieval politics and the relationship between church and state. The political and religious importance of the Holy Roman Empire was also reflected in its administrative structure. The empire was a patchwork of semi-independent entities, each with its own ruler and laws, but all recognizing the authority of the emperor. This feudal system allowed for great cultural and political diversity within the empire, but it also created significant challenges for centralized governance. The emperor's ability to maintain the cohesion of the empire depended on his ability to negotiate and mediate between diverse regional interests. The disintegration of the Holy Roman Empire began to accelerate at the beginning of the 16th century. culminating in its official dissolution in 1806, following the defeat of Napoleon Bonaparte. The reasons for the collapse of the empire are multiple, including internal conflicts, religious wars, and the rise of more centralized nation-states. However, the legacy of the Holy Roman Empire endures, influencing the formation of many modern European states and their legal and cultural traditions. This video will continue to explore how each of the 10 horns, including the Holy Empire, contributed to the formation of modern governments. The curiosities of history reveal that, even after its fall, the Holy Empire left an indelible mark on Europe and the world. The Ottoman Empire, founded at the end of the 13th century, is one of the curiosities of history that shows us how a small Turkish principality turned into one of the largest empires in the world. The rise of the Ottoman Empire began with the conquest of Constantinople in 1453, marking the end of the Byzantine Empire and the beginning of a new era of Ottoman domination. Under the command of sultans such as Suleiman the Magnificent, the empire expanded its borders, encompassing vast regions of Europe, Asia, and Africa. The administration and governance of the Ottoman Empire was marked by a combination of centralization and flexibility. The Sultan was the supreme authority, but the empire was divided into provinces governed by pashas, who had considerable autonomy. This system allowed for effective management of such a vast and diverse territory. Additionally, the Ottoman Empire was known for its relative religious tolerance, allowing Christians, Jews, and Muslims to live under its rule with a degree of religious freedom. These interesting facts about history show how the Ottomans managed to maintain cohesion in such a heterogeneous empire. The military conquests of the Ottoman Empire are legendary and contributed significantly to its expansion. Iconic battles, such as the Battle of Mohacs in 1526, solidified Ottoman rule in Central Europe. However, efficient administration and skillful diplomacy also played crucial roles. The Ottomans established complex networks of alliances and treaties that ensured the stability and prosperity of the empire for centuries. These curiosities of history reveal that the strength of the empire lay not only in its military power, but also in its ability to govern and negotiate. The decline and dissolution of the Ottoman Empire in the early 20th century were the result of a combination of internal and external factors. Internal conflicts, revolts, and the inability to modernize its military and administration weakened the empire. The First World War was the final blow, resulting in the division of its territories by the Allies. However, the legacy of the Ottoman Empire endures, influencing the geopolitics of the Middle East and the Balkans to this day. This video will continue to explore how each of the 10 horns, including the Ottoman Empire, shaped modern governments. Curiosities from history show us that, even after its fall, the Ottoman Empire left a lasting mark on the world. The British Empire, known as the greatest empire in history, is one of the curiosities of history that continues to fascinate and influence the modern world. Its formation began at the end of the 16th century, with maritime explorations and the first colonies in North America and the Caribbean. Over the centuries, the empire expanded to include vast territories in Africa, Asia, Oceania, and America. At the height of its power, the British Empire ruled over a quarter of the world's population and a fifth of the globe's land, a testament to its impressive capacity for expansion and dominance. The global expansion of the British Empire was driven by a combination of naval power, trade, and colonization. The British Royal Navy, considered the most powerful in the world, guaranteed control of sea routes and the protection of colonies. Trade, especially the trade in spices, tea, cotton, and slaves, made Britain rich and financed its expansion. Furthermore, colonization led to the spread of the English language, the parliamentary system of government, and other British institutions, which are still visible in many countries today. These fun facts from history show how empires shaped the world in profound and lasting ways. The global impact of the British Empire was not limited to politics and economics. Culturally, the empire had a significant influence, promoting the spread of British literature, science, and education. The founding of universities, schools, and research institutions in various parts of the empire helped spread knowledge and innovation. The cultural legacy of the empire is complex and multifaceted, including both positive contributions and controversies such as colonial oppression and racism. These interesting facts from history help us understand how the empire left an indelible mark on global culture. The process of decolonization, which began after the Second World War, marked the end of the British Empire as a political entity. Countries across the world fought for their independence, resulting in the formation of new nation-states. However, the Commonwealth of Nations, an organization made up of many former British territories, continues to promote economic and cultural ties between its members. This video will continue to explore how each of the 10 horns, including the British Empire, shaped modern governments. History's curiosities reveal that, even after its dissolution, the British Empire left a lasting legacy that still influences the world today. The Russian Empire, officially founded in 1721 under the reign of Peter the Great, is one of the curiosities of history that reveals the transformation of a relatively isolated nation into one of the greatest powers in the world. Peter the Great was a visionary who modernized Russia, introducing military, administrative, and cultural reforms that set the country on the path to expansion. Under his command, Russia expanded to the west, south, and east, incorporating vast territories and diverse ethnicities, becoming a multinational and multicultural empire. The expansion of the Russian Empire was marked by military conquests and strategic diplomacy. Russia has engaged in numerous wars with its European and Asian neighbors, including Sweden, Poland, and the Ottoman Empire, to secure access to strategic ports and expand its borders. Siberia, with its vast natural riches, was explored and colonized, significantly increasing the empire's territory. These historical facts show how Russia transformed from a medieval kingdom into an imperial power, influencing global politics and economics. The Russian Empire's internal challenges were as vast as its territory. The ethnic and cultural diversity of the empire created tensions and conflicts, while the feudal structure and czarist autocracy limited economic and social development. Peasant revolts, such as Pugachev's in the 18th century, and revolutionary movements, such as the Decembrists in the 19th century, reflected growing discontent with the czarist regime. These tidbits of history reveal the empire's inner complexities and ongoing efforts to maintain cohesion and stability. The revolution of 1917 marked the end of the Russian Empire and the beginning of a new era under Soviet rule. World War I exacerbated internal tensions, leading to the abdication of Tsar Nicholas II and the eventual seizure of power by the Bolsheviks. The revolution brought radical changes to the political, economic, and social structure of Russia. However, the legacy of the Russian Empire endures, influencing the geopolitics and culture of modern Russia. This video will continue to explore how each of the 10 horns, including the Russian Empire, shaped modern governments. Curiosities from history show us that, even after its fall, the Russian Empire left an indelible mark on the world. The German Empire, also known as the Second Reich, was proclaimed in 1871, following Prussia's victory in the Franco-Prussian War. This unification of Germany under the leadership of Chancellor Otto von Bismarck is one of the curiosities of history that highlights Bismarck's diplomatic and military skill. He used a series of strategic wars to consolidate the German states into a single empire, with King William I of Prussia being crowned as the first German emperor. The formation of the German Empire marked the emergence of a new power in Europe. The political structure of the German Empire was a constitutional monarchy, but with the strong influence of the emperor and chancellor. The Reichstag, the German parliament, had limited powers, and true authority resided with the Kaiser and his chancellor. Bismarck, in particular, maintained firm control over domestic and foreign policy, promoting a balance of power in Europe through alliances and treaties. These interesting facts about history show how the German Empire became a stabilizing force and, at the same time, a catalyst for change in European politics. The German Empire was also characterized by rapid industrial and economic growth. Germany has become one of the most industrialized nations in the world, with significant advances in technology, science, and education. This period of economic growth was accompanied by a rise in nationalism and militarism, which eventually led to tensions with other European powers. The search for colonies and the arms race contributed to the political instability that would culminate in the First World War. These interesting facts about history reveal how economic development and nationalism shaped the trajectory of the empire. The First World War was a turning point for the German Empire. Defeat in the war and the harsh conditions of the Treaty of Versailles in 1919 led to the collapse of the empire and the abdication of Kaiser Wilhelm II. The transition to the Weimar Republic marked the end of the Second Reich, but the impact of the German Empire continued to influence German politics and society. This video will continue to explore how each of the 10 horns, including the German Empire, shaped modern governments. Curiosities from history show us that even after its fall, the German Empire left a lasting legacy in Europe and the world. The Austro-Hungarian Empire, founded in 1867, is one of the curiosities of history that illustrates the complexity of governing a multinational empire. This dual empire, formed by Austria and Hungary, was an attempt to resolve ethnic and political tensions within the vast Habsburg territory. Emperor Franz Joseph I ruled both parts of the empire, but each maintained its own parliament and administration. This dual structure was an innovative solution at the time, but it also created significant challenges for cohesion and governance. The cultural diversity of the Austro-Hungarian Empire was one of its most striking characteristics. The empire was home to a wide range of ethnic groups, including Germans, Hungarians, Czechs, Slovaks, Poles, Croats, Serbs, Romanians, and many others. This cultural diversity has led to a rich tapestry of traditions, languages, and religions, but also to ethnic tensions and conflicts. The curiosities of history show us how the empire tried to balance these diverse interests through political concessions and reforms, although not always successfully. The administration of the Austro-Hungarian Empire was complex and multifaceted. Austria and Hungary had distinct legal and administrative systems, and coordination between the two parts of the empire required skillful diplomacy. Domestic politics was often marked by rivalries and disputes between different ethnic groups, each seeking greater autonomy and representation. These interesting facts about history reveal how the governance of the empire was a constant exercise in balance and negotiation. The disintegration of the Austro-Hungarian Empire was precipitated by the First World War. Internal tensions and military defeat led to the collapse of the empire in 1918. The Treaty of Saint-Germain and the Treaty of Trianon formalized the dissolution of the empire, resulting in the creation of new nation-states in Central and Eastern Europe. However, the legacy of the Austro-Hungarian Empire endures, influencing the region's culture, politics, and borders to this day. This video will continue to explore how each of the 10 horns, including the Austro-Hungarian Empire, shaped modern governments. The curiosities of history show us that, even after its fall, the empire left an indelible mark on Europe. The Japanese Empire, which emerged as a global power in the late 19th century, is one of the curiosities of history that demonstrates the rapid transformation of a feudal nation into a modern empire. With the Meiji Restoration in 1868, Japan underwent an accelerated process of modernization and industrialization. Emperor Meiji led sweeping reforms that included the adoption of Western technologies, the modernization of the military, and the centralization of power. This transformation allowed Japan to compete with Western powers and expand its territory. The Meiji era marked the beginning of Japanese imperial expansion. Japan sought resources and markets to sustain its industrial growth, leading to a series of territorial conquests. The victory over China in the First Sino-Japanese War, 1894 to 1895, and over Russia in the Russo-Japanese War, 1994 to 1995, consolidated the country's position. Japan as a military power, control over Korea, Taiwan, and parts of Manchuria significantly expanded the Japanese Empire. These fun facts from history show how Japan established itself as a formidable empire in a short period of time. World War II was a turning point for the Japanese Empire. The ambition to further expand its territory led to the invasion of China, and eventually the attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941, which brought the United States into the war. The conflict in the Pacific was marked by fierce and devastating battles, culminating in the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945. Japan's surrender marked the end of the militaristic empire and the beginning of a new era of reconstruction and peace. These fun facts from history reveal the war's profound and lasting impact on Japan and the world. In the post-war period, Japan underwent a remarkable transformation under the American occupation and the new constitution of 1947, which established a parliamentary democracy. The country has reinvented itself as an economic power, known for its technological and industrial innovation. The legacy of the Japanese Empire is complex, marked by conquests and tragedies, but also by a remarkable capacity for adaptation and resilience. This video will continue to explore how each of the 10 horns, including the Japanese Empire, shaped modern governments. The curiosities of history show us that even after its transformation, Japan continues to be an influential force on the global stage. The American Empire, as many call it, is one of the curiosities of history that highlights the rise of the United States as a global superpower. Since its independence in 1776, the United States has undergone a series of territorial expansions, beginning with the Louisiana Purchase in 1863 and continuing with the annexation of Texas, the acquisition of territories following the Mexican-American War, Americana, and the purchase of Alaska. Each territorial expansion reinforced American influence and set the stage for its dominant role in the 20th century. The transformation of the United States into a superpower was accelerated by 2 world wars. During World War I, the United States emerged as an economic and military leader, and after World War II, it solidified its position as one of the 2 global superpowers, alongside the Soviet Union. The Marshall Plan, which helped rebuild war-torn Europe, and the creation of the United Nations were examples of how the United States used its economic and political power to shape world order. These interesting facts from history show how American leadership profoundly influenced the global stage. The Cold War was a period of intense rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union, marked by an arms race, indirect conflicts, and an ideological struggle between capitalism and communism. During this time, the United States established strategic alliances such as NATO and engaged in wars in Korea and Vietnam to contain communist expansion. The end of the Cold War, with the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1990, left the United States as the only superpower, with unparalleled influence in global affairs. These fun facts from history reveal how American foreign policy has shaped the modern world. In the 21st century, the United States continues to play a crucial role in global politics, economics, and culture. Modern challenges such as terrorism, the rise of China, and climate change require a multifaceted and adaptive approach. The cultural influence of the United States, through its music, film, technology, and innovation, also contributes to its global status. This video will continue to explore how each of the 10 horns, including the American Empire, shaped modern governments. The curiosities of history show us that despite challenges, the United States remains a central force on the global stage, influencing the course of world events. The European Union, EU, officially formed in 1993 by the Maastricht Treaty, is one of the curiosities of history that exemplifies the evolution of international cooperation. The EU began as an effort to prevent further conflict in Europe after World War II and to promote economic and political integration among European countries. The European project, initially focused on the European coal and steel community and the European Economic Community, expanded to include a political and monetary union, resulting in the creation of the euro and the formation of a single supranational entity. The formation of the European Union had as its main objective peace and prosperity on the European continent, a continent that had been devastated by 2 world wars. Economic integration through the single market allowed the free movement of goods, services, people, and capital between member states. This economic cooperation was accompanied by common policies in areas such as agriculture, fishing, trade, and the environment. These interesting facts from history show how the EU managed to transform a fragmented continent into a cohesive economic and political bloc. Integration and the challenges facing the European Union are complex and multifaceted. The expansion of the EU to include Central and Eastern European countries after the end of the Cold War was a significant milestone, but it also brought challenges in terms of cohesion and governance. The financial crisis of 2008 and the sovereign debt crisis exposed weaknesses in the EU's economic structure, leading to debates about austerity and solidarity. Furthermore, Brexit, the United Kingdom's departure from the EU in 2016, marked a moment of reflection on the identity and future of the European Union. These interesting facts from history reveal the tensions and compromises necessary to maintain the Union. The future of the European Union is a topic of great interest and speculation. The EU faces significant challenges, including the rise of populism, migration issues, climate change, and the need for a common defense policy. However, the EU also has opportunities to strengthen its global position through technological innovation, environmental leadership, and international cooperation. This video will continue to explore how each of the 10 horns, including the European Union, has shaped modern governments. The curiosities of history show us that, despite the difficulties, the European Union remains a unique and vital experiment in supranational governance. The transformation of modern China is one of the most impressive curiosities in history. Since the implementation of Deng Xiaoping's economic reforms in 1978, China has gone from an isolated agrarian economy to one of the world's greatest economic powers. These reforms opened China to foreign investment, promoted industrialization, and encouraged entrepreneurship. In just a few decades, China has become the world's second-largest economy, a testament to its ability to adapt and grow. China's economic power is evident in its role as the factory of the world. The mass production of consumer goods, from electronics to clothing, has turned China into a global manufacturing hub. Furthermore, China has invested heavily in infrastructure, building extensive networks of roads, railways, and ports that facilitate domestic and foreign trade. The Belt and Road Initiative, launched in 2013, is an ambitious example of how China is expanding its global economic influence, connecting Asia, Europe, and Africa through new trade routes. These interesting facts from history show how China is shaping the global economy. China's global influence is not limited to the economy. Politically, China has asserted itself as a global power, with a growing presence in international organizations and an assertive foreign policy. The modernization of the Chinese military and the construction of military bases in the South China Sea are examples of how the country is expanding its military power. Furthermore, China has invested in technology and innovation, leading in areas such as artificial intelligence, renewable energy, and telecommunications. These interesting facts from history reveal how China is positioning itself as a global leader on several fronts. However, China's growth also faces significant challenges. Internal problems such as income inequality, environmental pollution, and human rights issues are sources of tension. Externally, rivalry with the United States and other Western powers creates a complex and volatile geopolitical environment. China's response to these challenges will determine its future role on the global stage. This video will continue to explore how each of the 10 horns, including modern China, has shaped modern governments. The curiosities of history show us that the rise of China is a multifaceted phenomenon that will continue to influence the world for many years to come. The fall of the Soviet Union in 1990 marked the beginning of a new chapter in the history of Russia, one of the curiosities of history that still reverberates on the global stage. The collapse of the Soviet regime brought with it a series of economic, political, and social challenges. The transition from a planned economy to a market economy was turbulent, marked by controversial privatizations, galloping inflation, and a drastic drop in living standards. However, this era of transformation also paved the way for new opportunities and a reconfiguration of Russian power. Under the leadership of Vladimir Putin, who assumed the presidency in 1999, Russia began to regain its stability and global influence. Putin implemented economic reforms that stabilized the Russian economy and increased the government's control over natural resources, especially oil and gas. These measures have helped Russia emerge as an energy power, using its vast resources to influence global politics. These interesting facts from history show how Russia, under Putin, managed to reverse the decline of the 90s and reassert its presence on the international stage. Russian foreign policy in the post-Soviet era has been assertive and, at times, controversial. The annexation of Crimea in 2014 and support for separatists in eastern Ukraine led to international sanctions and tensions with the West. The military intervention in Syria, which began in 2015, demonstrated Russia's willingness to project its military power beyond its borders. Furthermore, Russia has sought to strengthen its alliances with countries such as China and Iran, creating a network of strategic partnerships that challenge Western hegemony. These interesting facts from history reveal how Russia is shaping contemporary geopolitics. Domestically, Russia faces significant challenges, including governance, corruption, and human rights issues. The centralization of power under Putin has been criticized for limiting freedom of expression and political opposition. However, Putin's popularity among many Russians remains high, based on the perception that he has restored stability and national pride. Russia's future, both domestically and in its global standing, will depend on how it navigates these challenges and opportunities. This video will continue to explore how each of the 10 horns, including post-Soviet Russia, has shaped modern governments. The curiosities of history show us that Russia's trajectory is complex and multifaceted, with lasting impacts on the world today. The recent history of the Middle East is one of the curiosities of history that reveals a region marked by conflicts, political changes, and complex power dynamics. Since the end of the Ottoman Empire after World War I, the Middle East has undergone a series of significant transformations. The creation of new nation-states, often with arbitrary borders drawn by colonial powers, sowed the seeds of future tensions. The discovery of vast oil reserves in the region also played a crucial role, attracting international interests and influencing local politics. Internal conflicts in the Middle East have deep roots in ethnic, religious, and political issues. The rivalry between Sunnis and Shiites, for example, is one of the curiosities of history that continues to influence regional politics. Countries like Saudi Arabia and Iran represent opposite poles of this divide, each seeking to expand their influence through alliances and interventions in countries like Syria, Yemen, and Lebanon. Furthermore, the Palestinian issue and the Arab-Israeli conflict are persistent sources of tension and violence with global implications. These interesting facts about history show how internal divisions shape the geopolitical landscape of the Middle East. External intervention in the Middle East is another crucial factor in the region's history. From British and French intervention in the early 20th century to the American invasions of Iraq in 1991 and 203, foreign powers have played a significant role. The Arab Spring, which began in 2001, brought a new wave of political change, with popular protests toppling dictators in countries such as Tunisia, Egypt, and Libya. However, the resulting instability has also led to civil wars and the rise of extremist groups such as the Islamic State. These historical curiosities reveal how external intervention and popular movements shape the contemporary Middle East. The future of the Middle East is uncertain and full of challenges. Issues such as the reconstruction of Syria, the stability of Iraq, peace between Israel and Palestine, and the rivalry between Saudi Arabia and Iran will continue to define regional politics. Furthermore, dependence on oil and the need for economic diversification are challenges that many countries in the region face. This video will continue to explore how each of the 10 horns, including Middle Eastern governments and conflicts, has shaped modern governments. The story of modern Africa is one of the curiosities of history that reveals a continent rich in cultural diversity and natural resources, but also marked by complex challenges. The colonial era, which began in the late 19th century and lasted until the mid-20th century, left a profound legacy of exploitation and division. The Berlin Conference in 1884 divided Africa between European powers, often without regard for existing ethnic and cultural boundaries. This arbitrary division planted the seeds for future conflicts and difficulties in building cohesive nation-states. The independence process, which accelerated after the Second World War, brought hope and challenges to African countries. The fight for freedom was marked by iconic figures such as Kwame Nkrumah, Jomo Kenyatta, and Nelson Mandela, whose leadership inspired decolonization movements across the continent. However, the transition to independence was not easy. Many countries have faced internal conflicts, military coups, and authoritarian regimes. These historical curiosities show how the fight for independence and the construction of new nations were complex and multifaceted processes. Current governance in Africa is diverse and varied, reflecting the different historical trajectories and cultural contexts of each country. Some countries, such as Botswana and Ghana, are often cited as examples of success in terms of political stability and economic growth. Others, such as the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Somalia, continue to face significant challenges, including armed conflict, corruption, and poverty. The African Union, created in 2002, tries to promote integration and cooperation between African states, but faces difficulties in dealing with the internal problems of its members. These interesting facts from history reveal the complexity of governance in modern Africa. Africa's growth potential is immense, with a young, growing population and vast natural resources. Technological innovation, especially in the telecommunications sector, is transforming economies and societies across the continent. Agriculture and mining remain important pillars, but there is growing interest in economic diversification, including the development of manufacturing and service industries. Furthermore, African culture, rich in music, art, and literature, is gaining global recognition. This video will continue to explore how each of the 10 horns, including the challenges and potentials of modern Africa, has shaped modern governments. The curiosities of history show us that Africa is a continent of resilience and promise, with a crucial role in the global future. The history of Latin America is one of the curiosities of history that reveals a region rich in culture, diversity, and political complexity. Since the independence of the Spanish and Portuguese colonies at the beginning of the 19th century, Latin America has faced a series of challenges and transformations. Leaders such as Simón Bolívar and José de San Martín were central figures in the struggle for independence, but the construction of the new nations was marked by political instability, civil wars, and foreign interventions. These historical curiosities show how the search for identity and sovereignty shaped the region's trajectory. Economic challenges in Latin America have been a constant throughout its history. Dependence on exports of raw materials such as coffee, sugar, and oil has made Latin American economies vulnerable to fluctuations in global markets. Late and uneven industrialization also contributed to the persistence of poverty and social inequality. Economic crises, such as the debt crisis of the 1980s, led to periods of austerity and structural reforms, often imposed by international institutions such as the International Monetary Fund. These interesting facts about history reveal how the region's economy has been shaped by internal and external factors. Social movements have played a crucial role in Latin American politics. From the agrarian revolutions in Mexico and Bolivia to the civil rights and democracy movements in Brazil, Argentina, and Chile, popular mobilization has been a powerful force for change. The rise of left-wing governments at the beginning of the 21st century, such as those of Hugo Chavez in Venezuela and Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva in Brazil, represented an attempt to break with neoliberal policies and promote greater social equality. However, these governments also faced significant challenges, including corruption, political polarization, and economic crises. These interesting facts from history show how social movements continue to shape the region's politics. The future of Latin America is a mix of challenges and hopes. The region faces persistent problems such as violence, drug trafficking, and corruption, but it also has immense potential. The cultural richness, biodiversity, and creativity of its people are valuable assets. Regional integration, through organizations such as Mercosur and the Community of Latin American and Caribbean States, offers opportunities for cooperation and joint development. This video will continue to explore how each of the 10 horns, including Latin America's crises and hopes, has shaped modern governments. The curiosities of history show us that Latin America is a region of resilience and potential, with a vital role on the global stage. Modern India, with its rich tapestry of cultures, religions, and languages, is one of the curiosities of history that highlights the transformation of a British colony into one of the largest democracies in the world. Following independence from British rule in 1947, led by iconic figures such as Mahatma Gandhi and Jawaharlal Nehru, India embarked on a path of nation-building and economic development. The transition to a parliamentary democracy was a significant milestone, establishing a political system that, despite challenges, has remained robust and functional over the decades. The history of independence and democracy in India is marked by a series of internal challenges. The country's ethnic and religious diversity, with Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs, Christians, and other communities living side by side, has been both a source of strength and tension. Conflicts such as the partition of 1947, which resulted in the creation of Pakistan, and ongoing tensions in Kashmir, are examples of how these divisions can lead to violence and instability. However, India is also an example of resilience, with a vibrant civil society and free media playing crucial roles in maintaining democracy. These tidbits of history show how India navigates its internal complexities. India's economic development is a story of contrasts. Since the adoption of economic liberalization policies in 1991, India has experienced significant economic growth, emerging as one of the fastest-growing economies in the world. Sectors such as information technology, services, and manufacturing have driven this growth. However, income inequality, poverty, and insufficient infrastructure remain persistent challenges. Initiatives such as the Make in India program and the digitalization of government services are efforts to address these challenges and promote more inclusive development. These interesting facts from history reveal the duality of Indian economic progress. India's role on the global stage is on the rise. As a nuclear power and an influential member of international organizations such as the United Nations, the G20, and the BRICS, India is increasingly assertive in its foreign policy. Indian diplomacy seeks to balance relations with major powers such as the United States, China, and Russia, while promoting regional cooperation through initiatives such as the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, SAARC. This video will continue to explore how each of the 10 horns, including modern India, has shaped modern governments. The curiosities of history show us that India, with its rich heritage and complex dynamics, is a vital force in the contemporary world. International organizations are one of the curiosities of history that show how global cooperation can shape world politics and the economy. Following the devastation of World War II, the creation of the United Nations in 1945 marked a concerted effort to promote international peace and security. The UN has become a forum where nations can resolve conflicts, promote human rights, and cooperate on global issues such as climate change and sustainable development. The General Assembly and the Security Council are the main bodies of the UN, each playing a crucial role in global governance. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank, both founded in 1944 during the Bretton Woods Conference, are other international organizations that have a significant impact on the global economy. The IMF was created to promote financial stability and facilitate international trade by providing financial assistance to countries in economic difficulties. The World Bank, on the other hand, aims to reduce poverty and promote economic development by financing infrastructure, education, and health projects in developing countries. These interesting facts from history show how these institutions shape global economic policies. Regional organizations also play a crucial role in international politics. The European Union, for example, is one of the most integrated regional organizations, promoting economic, political, and social cooperation between its member states. The African Union, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, and the Organization of American States, OAS, are other regional organizations that work to promote integration and cooperation in their respective regions. These organizations help resolve regional conflicts, promote trade, and address common challenges such as terrorism and climate change. These interesting facts from history reveal the importance of regional cooperation in global governance. The future of international organizations is a topic of great interest and debate. Challenges such as growing political polarization, nationalism, and the legitimacy crisis of international institutions call into question their effectiveness and relevance. However, the need for global cooperation to tackle transnational problems such as pandemics and climate change is more urgent than ever. This video will continue to explore how each of the 10 horns, including the role of international organizations, has shaped modern governments. The curiosities of history show us that despite the challenges, international organizations continue to be essential pillars of the global order. The digital revolution is one of the curiosities of history that has most transformed the way modern governments operate and interact with their citizens. Since the emergence of the Internet in the last decades of the 20th century, technology has played a crucial role in governance, transparency, and the provision of public services. Governments around the world have adopted digital technologies to improve administrative efficiency, facilitate communication, and increase citizen participation. Electronic government, e-gov initiatives, allow citizens to access public services, pay taxes, and participate in public consultations online, making public administration more accessible and transparent. Cybersecurity is a growing challenge for modern governments, reflecting one of history's curiosities about how dependence on technology brings new vulnerabilities. With cyber threats on the rise, from hacker attacks to disinformation campaigns, governments are investing heavily in cybersecurity measures. Protecting critical infrastructure, such as power grids, transportation systems, and government databases, is a priority. Furthermore, international cooperation in cybersecurity is essential to face transnational threats. These interesting facts from history show how digital security has become a central concern in global politics. The technological future promises even more transformations in governance. Emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, AI, blockchain, and big data are being explored to improve. AI can help analyze large volumes of data to predict trends and formulate more effective policies. Blockchain offers solutions for the transparency and security of government transactions. Furthermore, smart cities, which use sensors and real-time data to manage urban resources, are redefining urban governance. These interesting facts from history reveal how technological innovation is shaping the future of governments. However, the adoption of new technologies also raises ethical and privacy concerns. The collection and use of personal data by governments needs to be balanced with protecting citizens' rights. Regulating technology and ensuring it is used fairly and inclusively are important challenges. This video will continue to explore how each of the 10 horns, including the impact of technology on modern governments, has shaped modern governments. The curiosities of history show us that technology, with all its promises and challenges, is redefining governance in the 21st century. The rise of populism and nationalism is one of the curiosities of recent history that has shaped global politics in profound and unexpected ways. Populist movements, characterized by charismatic leaders who promise to represent the people against the elites, have gained strength in different parts of the world. From the election of Donald Trump in the United States to Brexit in the United Kingdom, these movements reflect growing discontent with traditional institutions and globalization. Populism often feeds on feelings of economic and cultural exclusion, promising simple solutions to complex problems. Nationalism, in turn, emphasizes sovereignty and national identity, often in opposition to international cooperation and immigration. This resurgence of nationalism can be seen in countries such as Hungary under the government of Viktor Orbán and in India with Narendra Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party. These leaders promote policies that prioritize national and cultural interests, often to the detriment of minority rights and international relations. These interesting facts from history show how nationalism can reconfigure alliances and influence domestic and foreign policy. The response to these populist and nationalist movements varies according to the political and social context of each country. In some cases, they result in significant changes in government policies, such as immigration restrictions, economic protectionism, and electoral reforms. In others, they generate resistance and mobilization of civil society groups that defend democratic and inclusive values. Political polarization is a common consequence, with societies divided between those who support populist and nationalist messages and those who reject them. These interesting facts from history reveal how these movements can both challenge and strengthen democratic institutions. The future of populist and nationalist movements is uncertain, but their impact is already evident. The ability of these movements to adapt and evolve, utilizing new technologies and communication strategies, suggests that they will continue to be a significant force in global politics. At the same time, resistance to these movements, both within and beyond national borders, will shape the political dynamics of the coming years. This video will continue to explore how each of the 10 horns, including populist and nationalist movements, has shaped modern governments. The curiosities of history show us that politics is an ever-changing field, influenced by forces that reflect the hopes and fears of societies. The influence of the media on modern governments is one of the curiosities of history that has most transformed the dynamics of political power. From the invention of the printing press in the 15th century to the digital age of the 21st century, the media has played a crucial role in shaping public opinion and disseminating information. Traditional media, such as newspapers, radio, and television, have long been the main source of news and information, shaping perceptions and influencing political decisions. The ability to control the narrative through these means has given governments and media corporations great power. With the advent of social media and digital platforms, the landscape of political communication has changed drastically. Tools such as Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube allow politicians and citizens to communicate directly without the mediation of the traditional press. This democratized access to information, but also brought challenges such as the spread of fake news and the polarization of opinions. The ability to viralize messages and mobilize support through social media has become an essential strategy in modern political campaigns. These fun facts from history show how digital media is redefining politics and governance. The issue of fake news and disinformation is one of the biggest challenges faced by modern governments. The rapid and widespread spread of false information can influence elections, incite violence, and undermine trust in democratic institutions. Governments and technology companies are looking for ways to combat misinformation, but the solution is not simple. Regulation of the internet and social media raises questions about freedom of expression and censorship. These interesting facts from history reveal how the fight against misinformation is an ongoing and complex battle. The future of media and its role in modern governments is an ever-evolving field. The integration of emerging technologies, such as artificial intelligence and big data, promises to further transform the way information is produced and consumed. Transparency and journalistic responsibility will be fundamental to maintaining public trust. This video will continue to explore how each of the 10 horns, including the role of the media, has shaped modern governments. The curiosities of history show us that the media, in all its forms, will continue to be a powerful force in politics, influencing the course of global events and public perception. The story of the 10 horns leads us to reflect on the future of global governments. one of the curiosities of history that continues to evolve before our eyes. Synthesizing the preceding discussions reveals how each empire, nation, and international organization shaped world politics and economics. From the ancient Roman and Byzantine empires to modern superpowers like the United States and China, each of these horns has left a lasting legacy that still influences contemporary governance. Understanding these historical dynamics allows us to predict possible future scenarios and the trends that will shape global governments. Future trends point to an increasingly interconnected and interdependent world. Globalization, driven by technology and trade, will continue to challenge national borders and create new forms of cooperation and conflict. Issues such as climate change, pandemics, and cybersecurity require coordinated multilateral responses. The rise of new economic and political powers, such as India and Brazil, will also alter the global balance of power. These interesting facts from history show us that the future of global governments will be shaped by a combination of continuity and change. Technological innovation will play a crucial role in shaping the future of governments. Emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, blockchain, and biotechnology have the potential to transform governance, the economy, and society. How governments adopt and regulate these technologies will determine their impact. Transparency, accountability, and inclusivity will be key to ensuring the benefits of these innovations are widely shared. These interesting facts from history reveal that the ability to adapt and innovate will be essential for governments of the future. The final reflection on the role of governments in people's lives and on the global stage leads us to consider the importance of citizen participation and democracy. In a rapidly changing world, citizens' voices will be crucial in shaping policies that promote justice, equity, and sustainability. This video not only explored the curiosities of history, but also invited us to think about our role in shaping the future. By understanding the past, we can better prepare for the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. The curiosities of history show us that, although the future is uncertain, the human capacity to learn and evolve offers hope for a better world.
If you're interested in having a Bible like the one we use in our studies, check out the link in the first pinned comment. If you enjoy our content and can support our channel, consider buying us a coffee through Buy Me a Coffee. Additionally, if you can purchase a crucifix, we also have a link in the first pinned comment. We greatly appreciate your support. God bless, and see you in the next video.